welcome back to Personal Development Strategies. I hope you're doing well and that you're beginning to believe in yourself and you're beginning to say, okay, I can do this. And the last time we talked about you're sharpening your saw, about developing personal development in you. Now, if you haven't watched session 1, make sure you go back and watch session 1 because this will not make any sense to you if you haven't watched session 1. So our first session, basically we learned about what it means to begin to sharpen the saw in each one of our lives. And so we were looking at the 4 areas that really make up each one of us, right? There's the physical aspect, the emotional aspect, the mental, and the spiritual side of it. And what I ask you guys to do is to take a look at yourself, to sit down and take a hard look, take an inventory, right? An inventory of your life and how are you doing personally. This has nothing to do with your marriage, if you're married, your family, your job, anything like that. In order to lead well, in order to develop other people and help make a difference in this world, you have to make sure you're leading yourself properly. The first thing you got to do when you go to the gym, when you want to do something, you've got to see where you are right now. And that's what we did in session 1. We took a stop to say, where are we right now in my life personally? How am I doing with exercise, sleep, nutrition, my health? How am I doing emotionally? Am I always on edge? Am I up and down? Do I feel like I'm crying one day and then the next moment I'm laughing? How am I doing? Do I feel like I'm driven? Do I feel depressed? Where are you doing emotionally? And we looked at the 3 areas. If you remember, are you dying? Are you surviving? Are you thriving? And here's what I know about our lives, is that our lives, I believe, are meant to thrive. The greatest, I believe, leader in the world, he got 12 disciples. His name was Jesus. He brought them up, turned the world upside down. And one of the things he said to his followers, he says, I've come to give you life and give it to you to the full. In other words, I think that God desires for each one of us to have a full life. Not a life that's dying or surviving or just surviving, but a life that's meant to thrive. Now, if you're here today and you're watching this video and you're saying, man, I'm surviving and I'm okay with that, then turn it off. You don't need this. But for those of you who said, no, I don't want to just survive personally in my marriage, in my home, in my finances, I want to thrive, then you're in the right place. Because what I simply want to share with you are some strategies that have helped me move forward and feel like I'm thriving it and hitting home runs the best that I can each and every day to find purpose in your life. And so that was the exercise that I had to do. So as we come back today for session number 3, right? Session 3 is I need you to take a look at one of these areas and let's decide, and you decided on what that area was, correct? So let's just say that for you, one area that you want to work on, you say is the physical side of it, okay? And we're just going to use that for today's discussion just for a moment. So we're fixing to start this new month. This new month is coming up on Friday, right? This new month, we're starting a brand new month. Now, if you're watching this prior to this, just think the next 30 days, okay? So wherever you are, maybe you're not watching this when this is filmed, but you're saying, okay, so I want you to think 30 days, 30 to 31 days out, a month away from today. That area that you said needs the most work. What is it that you want to see accomplished in those 30 days? In other words, Covey would say, Stephen Covey, start with the end in mind. In other words, what do you want to look like day 31? When you wake up in the morning, you're like, yes, I have been doing this physically. Maybe it's like I have lost 5, 10 pounds. Like, okay, you've lost a certain amount of weight. Maybe it's I begin to eat better, okay? Maybe it's I've slept 8 hours. I normally sleep 3. It's not good, by the way, if you only sleep 3 hours. Okay, so I need you to take that and to say, what do you want it to look like out here in 31 days? Now, let me pause here for a minute because this is where you need to get very specific with this goal, with this thing that you're shooting for, okay? Is if you're shooting for this goal out at 31 days, you need to give it a specific number and a timeline if that's going to happen. Well, we've given it a timeline, but specifically something that can be measured. We're starting off with something very simple, just 1 month. You go, a month, that's a long time. In the grand scheme of life, it's not long at all, ladies and gentlemen. But if you could get this in a month and get this down to where you've accomplished something, let me just tell you this, it's going to boost you. It's going to go, I can do this. It's going to give you something, some sense of fulfillment, saying, I did it. You know, in 31 days, and guess what? I lost 10 pounds. Or I'm able to sleep an average of 8 hours a night. Yes, whatever that is. Again, that's just the physical side of it. But I need you just to think about what that looks like in a very measurable way. Now, why is that important? If you just said, I want to exercise more in 31 days, you could have sat up in bed and called that a sit-up. And you're like, I did it. That is not correct. So, for example, I want to lose, let's just say, 20 pounds. That's very easy. You can measure that, right? So week 1, week 1, week 2, week 3, and week 4. Every day, or every Monday, Tuesday, whenever you get on the scale, you begin to measure that, and there's your thing. And then guess what? You're going to start seeing it, hopefully moving towards that goal, that thing that you're shooting for. So it needs to be something measurable, okay? Maybe it is eating. Maybe, and if you say, well, I don't want to eat. I want to lose weight, or I don't want to eat things. So if you don't want to lose weight, then what are the ways that you measure that? Caloric intake, calories. So for some of you, you're like, I only want to eat, 2,000 calories a day, or I don't eat X amount of calories a day. Then you're going to have to start measuring that. Okay, give yourself something that you can measure, that you can shoot for, okay? That's just the physical side. Spiritual side, I don't know what that looks like. Maybe I want to spend, 2 hours in my quiet time, or I want to go on a walk 3 times a week and just listen to God. That's a spiritual discipline, solitude and silence. I don't know what that looks like. Mentally, maybe I want to learn how to whatever. I want to read this book in this amount of time. It's very measurable, right? Because you got a book. The book is 200 pages. You can see yourself moving towards that, okay? So I need you to think about that, and I need you to go ahead and write that down. This is really, really important, because this is going to give us a basis to what we're shooting for, okay? Does that make sense to everybody? I think it should. So what you're doing simply right now is you're going to write down that one goal that you want to see happen in 31 days. Okay? And I need you to write that down, and this is where you're going to share this. This is where we're going to begin to share and be accountable to each other in this community of people that's online, okay? You need to go ahead and share that. What is it that you want to do? And I'll start it off, okay? I'll kick it off. That way we can kick off the comments together. But what is one thing that you want to see accomplished in the next 31 days? Accountability is key. Write that down, and so as we begin this journey, we're going to start giving you some strategies, some helpful tools to understand what you have to do to make sure you hit that goal. Okay? So real simple. The next step, whatever that is, come up with just one, please. One, and not one of each. Whichever one you're working on that you say the physical is what I really want to personally develop myself right now is my physical aspect, my emotional, my mental, and my spiritual. And here's the one thing that I want to see happen in 31 days. I want to see this happen. I want to see this happen. I want to see this happen, or I want to see this happen. Just one. Go ahead and think through that. Once you have the answer, go ahead and comment below. And we're going to continue this because this is great. And some of you are like, well, duh, I've already done that, okay? But here's the next step. We're going to follow through with this to help you take the next steps in making sure that happens. Because there's something that has to happen in order for you to get there in these next 31 days. So awesome. Listen, you guys have got this. There's a purpose. There's a plan. You're going to rock it today. You've got to believe in that this morning, okay? Believe in that as you're moving through this next month. Start getting excited about you setting a goal, and we're going to accomplish it. You're going to hit this. You got to start believing that about yourself, okay? So look forward to seeing you guys back next time. Listen, have an awesome day. go out and just take this day, man. This is your day. As the scripture would say, the Bible, that's where I put my faith in Jesus. The Bible says this is the day that he has made, that God's given us. Let's rejoice. Let's rejoice. It's going to be a great day.